me and everyone in quarantine. I'm Jack Bulwer. I'm the co-founder of Lickquake, and this is the second edition of our virtual literary series, which presents events from May through the end of July. All of our programs begin at 6 p.m., or 6:12, unless otherwise noted, and you can find our schedule at lickquake.org. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for the latest updates for everything. This is Lickquake's 21st year as San Francisco's literary festival. It's also the weirdest year it's just so strange. So we are all gathered here tonight to celebrate poetry in quarantine. And as of this moment, right now, Lickquake will take place as a festival this October. It will be in a very different form, but we still really want to do it and bring it to everybody. And it will most likely be online. We'll have some more details coming soon. In the meantime, here we are streaming live to the Bay Area and throughout the world. So a few things before we begin. Feel free to use the chat feature on the side of your screen. I think everyone's discovered that already. You can also support all of the poets tonight by clicking that green button at the bottom of your screen and buying their books. You can either go to your favorite online indie bookstore, or you can use bookshop.org, which kicks back a little bit of money to independent bookstores. We also ask for your support of the Lickquake organization to allow us to continue events like this. The Bay Area is like super expensive already, and now things are even more difficult and insane. So we appreciate any donation you can spare. So let's get on with the poetry. So your host for this evening, he is also the curator. Yes. He is a San Francisco writer, stand-up comedian, illustrator, organizer. He does so many things. And he's the author of the poetry collections I Miss You, Delicate, and Lovers of the Deep Fried Circle. He did a solo show called Love in the Time of Piñatas, which got a clapping man from the San Francisco Chronicle. He created the Tiny Baruch online comic and touring show. He's done all the literary events there are to do in the Bay Area. Literary Deathmatch, Writers with Drinks. He is the founder of the literary showcase Donde Está Mi Gente? I think I pronounced that correctly. He hosts events regularly for KQED and Lickquake, and he's performed comedy and poetry everywhere from sexual health clinics and fancy bars to sex parties and Sketchfest. He was born in Mexico, and he loves gummy bears, and he got a donut named after him from Dynamo Donuts. How many people can say that? The Baruchador donut is named for our host tonight. So please, he's going to be hosting and introducing everyone throughout the evening. I'm so glad he's able to do this with us. It's just great. And what a great assembly of people he's put together tonight. So enjoy the poetry, and let's just get on with it. Here is Baruch Porras-Hernandez.
All right. Thank you so much, Jack. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Bienvenidos to all of you poetry, literature lovers. I am so grateful that you have all taken the time to join us today. Like Jack said, my name is Baruch Porras-Hernandez. Welcome to my little room in my little apartment here in San Francisco. I'm going to cross my fingers that my neighbor is going to stop doing construction in his apartment, wherever he is. But while I'm talking tonight, if you hear a high-powered electric buzzsaw, just pretend it's a vibration coming from my chubby little K heart. I'll just do this. But hopefully he won't be doing that. Oh wait, there it is again. Anywho, I'm gonna mute myself later during the performances so you all don't have to hear that. But enough about that. Everybody take a deep breath. Let it out. I hope you've washed your hands. Welcome to you, me, and everyone in quarantine, because we shouldn't reopen because a lot of people are dying. But yeah, I'm so happy to be doing this show, and I'm super happy that all of these writers have decided to join us tonight for you, me, and everyone in quarantine. We're going to do some poetry, some literature for y'all, and maybe show you some drawings. On that note, like Jack said, I'm not just a writer, poet, and stand-up comedian. I'm also an illustrator. I'm the creator of the online comic Tiny Baruch. So Tiny Baruch wants to say hi and say, welcome to the show. There he is. Now, Baruch, why don't you just do a screen share? Because I'm a rebel and I don't want to. I like showing my drawings. Tiny Baruch has been around for a while, and I usually say, like, really important stuff with Tiny Baruch, but sometimes it's just, little, like, silly, boring stuff. For example, like this little comic. Here is Tiny Baruch hiding in a fort of clean laundry. And the comic is, hey, aren't you going to put away your laundry? And he's going to say, no, because he is lazy. And then the next one is him in a fort made out of takeout stuff. So there he is. And it says, hey, don't you think you ordered too much takeout? That's his roommate. And he's like, no. And then the last one is his roommate saying, hey, don't you think you sleep with too many men? And here's Tiny Baruch saying, no, and a pile of sexy men. So the last one, real quick, he also loves everything nerdy. So on that Sailor Moon challenge came out, I just had to draw Tiny Baruch as a Sailor Scout, Sailor Moon Baruch with some pretty earrings. Excuse me. And here is Tiny Baruch saying, oh man, I don't know if you can see that. Well, Happy Pride. That's Tiny Baruch saying Happy Pride. And by Happy Pride, what he means to say is Pride was a riot. It was a riot. It was started by Black trans women and Latina trans women. And this Pride should keep it going. We should not stop protesting. We should not stop fighting for Black lives. On that note, Black Lives Matter. And I don't want us to go back to normal. I want us to keep working until things get better for Black Americans and Black people all over the world. Everybody take a deep breath. All right, now that I have shared some Tiny Baruch with all of you, let's go on with the show. Our first performer tonight, I met in a really cool way. So as a writer and organizer, often I get emails from complete strangers that are like, hi, you should put me in your show. Usually white men that are like, hey, put me in your show. And I read all the emails and I watch the YouTube videos that I get sent. But most of the time, when I find an artist, it's because I've seen them on stage or I've seen them online and I go, oh my God, I really want to work with that artist. But one day I got an email from a writer who was really smart. They were like, hi, this is who I am. Here's where I've been published. Here's some videos where you can see my work. And, as an organizer, sometimes you see those and you're like, whatever, I'll look at it later. But something about this writer, the way their email was written, I was like, this person sounds charming, smart, and on top of their shit. So I looked at their videos and I was like, oh my God, this person is great. I can't believe I didn't know about them already. So I put them in a show at Yerba Buena Gardens Festival last year, and they showed up and wowed us. Then we were in a show together at The Racket, which is an incredible literary series that y'all should go to. The Racket happens at Alley Cat Books. And she made me fall in love with her again. Her bio is long and impressive. Let's see. She has been published in Boat, BuzzFeed, Golf Course, and Threepenny Review, among other journals. She is the winner of the RL Poetry Award in 2017, and her debut book of poems titled Mother Tongue Apologize was published by RLFPA Editions in February of 2019. Congratulations! And she holds an MFA from the University of San Francisco. Everybody, please clap inside your apartments and your houses for Preeti Vangani. Yay, welcome Preeti. Yay. I hope this works. There she is. It works. You never know with technology. Welcome, Preeti. I'm going to let you take it away. You look great. Break a leg.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me back. I want to thank my parents who taught me to go and advocate for myself since I was very young. I grew up in Bombay in India, and I remember one of the things we had to do in school, I went to Catholic school, was collect money for the annual charity that our school did, and my parents were not going to fill up the whole raffle form, and they taught me to go door to door to ask for money. And since I think that age, it's been imbibed in me that if you want something and you think it's important, go ask for it. So thank you so much for making me a part of the wonderful arts community in San Francisco and bringing me to the stage so many times. I'm so, so grateful. Having said that, I love the concept of this show, you, me, and everybody in quarantine. And I'm going to read my first poem, which speaks to that a little bit more directly. But well, all poems speak to loneliness, so all poems are in the end about quarantine in my case. And thank you everyone for joining in and bringing your minds and hearts to art. Despite everything that's happening outside, continue resisting, continue donating, continue fighting. I am so sad about everything, but also happy that I get to live it in San Francisco with everyone, to be a part of the resistance that is us. Thank you. This poem is called Single with a Side of Quarantine. The shelter in place shifts the communal access of the world closer to my kind of loneliness. The year I begged for a baby sister, my folks gifted me an electronic pet made in China. This morning, another friend memed a whole race as the real virus. I washed my comforter, panic bought eggs, read a book erstwhile titled The Hall of Human Origins. I had christened my pet sister, a coral plastic fish with a screen for a belly, Infinity. Fed her when she squeaked, hid her from disciplining nuns. Despite its mind-numbing traffic and potholes deep as grief, I miss driving my dingy car on the Bombay ceiling tonight. I'm craving the salt-soaked wind to ravage my coconut oil-pressed hair. I come from a blank page with just the word eroticism doodled in its center. These days, I wonder if I should sell the condoms I hoarded at the women's clinic over the quarantine black market. My room is lit by a vase of Billy Button's yellow undying bulbs that need no care. The week tastes like brown rice and broccoli. It is the 12-year anniversary of my mother's passing. It was hard for my father to resuscitate my infinity. No shop, he said, had the batteries we needed. There must be a room in the other world's architecture where one can sit for tea with the dead toy, the unspeaking mother, and the sold in a rush first car. I hope they remember to stock honey and sugar there. Thank you. All right. The second poem I wrote about the easiest phase in any young girl's life, puberty. It's called Keep Me Burning. It's from my book Mother Tongue Apologize, which I wrote a couple of years ago. And this is for the entire book is for my mother, who we lost in 2008. Keep me burning. I practiced crossing my legs the way my father daggered his eyes at mother if I ever wore shorts. Twin openings exposing more than what they could hold inside. It took me 3 sex ed classes and a crushed pamphlet to know that I must fold and hold my body like a score of eggs on a crowded subway. My period premiered the night we went to watch Godzilla, which wasn't as scary as the sports teacher asking bleeding students to sit separately in a lotus pose, a quick whip if the line of our panties showed through the pinafore. We played telephone with our hands instead of running in the sun. And in moral science class, the only girl with waxed legs passed a chit under the smooth wooden desk. It read, "When he touches, I feel hot and cold at the same time." I lay naked on our marble floor with a fever under his ripped full body poster. I touched myself the way my sister braids and wiggles her toes. Over the phone under the sheets, coral pink, her words like submerged seeds on strawberries. Who knew those were called achenes, the berry's ovaries? I asked my mother what was the big deal about sexing, and she asked me if I'd eaten all my fruit at lunch. What would Madonna have done? I vibrated all around my pimpled ears with a Walkman or a home karaoke mic between my thighs, knowing there was a sound inside that would leak on any given Sunday in choir as he'd hit his solo bits of "Give me oil in my lamp." If only there was a way to touch the difference between fill and feel. If only I knew how I could make origami of my shame and let it fly, fly, fly. All right. Thanks so much for all that fun stuff in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I'm done. This next poem is called Self-Taught. I believe if I fixate over the last image of my body I sent him, this boy will magically respond. Arm outstretched, I wait in the balcony holding my cell phone way out into the airwaves through an iron square in the grill to catch better signal, hear the leaky pressure cooker whistle. My mum hushes it, fills it up again. A controlled storm, one semi-nude makes you prude, too many is needy. Elbow rooted on the sill, a family of ants migrates onto my body, thinks me a path. For their sake, I statue myself. Must I be ashamed of my skin and what it unfolds within? A teenage canvas forever pregnant with want. Am I not sexy enough to be replied to? I learnt the word sexy from a hit cheap girl song, which the censor board stamped as vulgar had the word sexy replaced. Mimicking that red corseted starlet's moves in my petticoat, I knew I had to find a way to be sexy without ever thinking or saying I was. Until one night I wore a tube that sculpted my chest into two half moons, awkwardly staring at the neon walls of a karaoke club. I was sweat and salt and bloody married. A man whose hand I memorized better than his face made a soup bowl with his hands, dropping his tongue into the emptiness. What song could I request then which meant run but not with your feet? How my body can be a country at war with itself, but also here in the promising balcony, a bridge for beings smaller than me, soldiering to find a dot of sugar for their little hunger as I continue to wait for one beep of an answer from men to whom I unveil, little by little, who I am. And I'm going to do one last poem, which I also did at the reading, the racket reading with Baruch. And that was such a fantastic evening. And it seems like it happened 25 years ago. It was only in February. All right. An apple a day. An apple a day and a pear and a persimmon, a banana at 6 a.m. Lately, I've been eating a ton of fruits to accelerate my immunity. Pomegranate coming loose at its heart, bleeding, the front page headline. Another woman in India raped, beaten, found without bra, breath, uterus belongings. Fresh blood oranges, I slice dramatic as sunsets, bitter rind on my thumb. Lingers, then fades. Like expletives elegized in my mouth, I am immune. Every 20 minutes, a girl is raped in India. I let the statistics sticky as a jackfruit abduct my tongue and late show hosts shade the body of our country into safe and unsafe zones. And which country do I belong to if my country begins with my body? And do I even care 8,262 miles away from home? I'm gently breaking open segments of mandarins, arranging pips into smiley faces for the girl I babysit. Her ear abnormality makes her wail at the faintest sound of firecrackers here in San Francisco bursting on the other side of the water. I say, I'm sorry, my peachy, but tonight again the Giants have won. The words desensitized, normal, not news, lodged between my enamel losing molars, stubborn as seeds of tamarind, sour pleasure of pulp and flesh, which damaged my voice box at 9. I secretly bought fistfuls with lunch money, hid from mum, as I did the story of the neighbor who begged me to show him what was under my cherry red skirt. Is stillness a kind of reacting? Have I reacted enough? Did I react the night a rom-com loving banker, blue moon and citrus lipped, held my hair captive at the back of a bar, said, call me your master? Yes, no. What did I feed him? I'm immune. And is my yes, yes, yes a submission of presence, as in, yes, sir, or a submission of the shame I am to feel but cannot? Or is it a tick box checked under the pursuit of pleasure? And of course, this is not the same at all as the news today. Some say the average girl is incapable of telling what is not rape. A pluot is a plum crossed with an apricot. A tangelo is a marriage of tangerine with pomelo. My body is the hybrid history of my wanton desires, fucked by undefined boundaries. My ex is hashtag the predator. My coworker calls himself an ally. My boss circulates a new HR policy. Another girl is raped. I am immune. I carry my body an infested orchard to another candle march. I am immune. I hold hands with women I have nothing and everything in common with. Every was it abuse or not riddle raises itself as the disappointed eyebrow of the convent nun who asked me during my kindergarten interview, is this tomato a fruit or a vegetable? Disbelief is the first song I picked up when I learned to unbutton my urges, knew it as my national anthem. And before they could agree on a final name, my family christened me Chiku. A rough-skinned fruit, sweetness of malt, survives only in intense warmth. It is cold inside a body that knows not, was taught not, to husk tyranny from touch. I forgive me, my every unknowing, my every denial, a wail for how could I let it happen to me? I offer my fruits, ripe, unripe, even the rot that starts much before the bruising of skin to root deep silences, my own and the ones I loan. I pray that all the missing parts of the girl can be found. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank you for listening through that. I know this is intense, so thank you for bringing yourselves here. And thank you, Baruch, for having me. And shout out to Litquake for keeping this going despite the world crumbling in so many ways.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Preeti. That was amazing. I remember you reading that at the Racket and me just like, sometimes when you're at readings, you're like maybe like checking out the room, seeing who's hot, or like on your phone, and then like you got up to read and that poem just like blew me away. And I think I might have already said this to you. When you're like you read so much poetry, if you're a writer, and if you are like myself, you go to a lot of shows. Once in a while, you encounter a poem that you're like, oh, this is why I like poetry. So, thank you so much for sharing your work with us today. And yay, thank you, everybody. Please give a round of applause to Preeti Vangani. Check her out online and follow her on Instagram and on Twitter, and go to all her shows once we are all out of quarantine. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, my name is Baruch Porras-Hernandez, and you are at You, Me, and Everyone in Quarantine here with Litquake. So I am your host, Baruch. I may or may not be wearing pants, and this is my Corona beard. It looks like a jungle, and I can't wait till I'm brave enough to trim it myself, but right now I'm a little too scared to do that. Our next writer, they're just incredible. I met our next writer at the Lambda Literary Retreat. We were both, back in 2014, we were both poetry fellows. And when they read their poems, I was just so amazed by the creativity. They read a poem about the color pink, and it was so powerful and fun and queer and sexy. I was so impressed. And when you meet those writers, you're like, they seem really cool. I am never going to be able to be friends with somebody that cool. Later that night, or later that day, I put a Facebook post up saying like, my kingdom for an iced coffee, because I'm a chubby gay Mexican who loves iced coffee. I was just too lazy to go get it. And I didn't have a car. When you're in these retreats, sometimes you're just, stranded. And then out of nowhere, there's a knock at my door, and there was Wo Chan with a giant, large iced coffee. Wo Chan saved my life. It was really hot in LA, and the place we were staying at did not have AC. And I was like, oh, what the fuck, Lambda Literary? JK, it had AC. I think my room was broken. But Wo Chan's just amazing. I'm going to read their bio because I'm trying to stay professional. Wo Chan is a queer poet and drag performer living in Brooklyn who has received fellowships from the New York Foundation of the Arts, Kundiman, and the Asian American Writers Workshop. As a member of Switch and Play, Wo has performed at venues including the Whitney, National Sawdust, New York Live Arts, and BAM Fisher. Check them out at The Illustrious Pearl. And if you are in the New York area, once we are all allowed to go to venues, you have to check out their drag because it literally will give you life. Please give a warm welcome round of applause to Wo Chan.
I'm on screen.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
Break a leg. Mwah.
I forgot about that. What a beautiful story. It's always so wonderful to hear other people's perspectives of you because it's so easy to lose sight of who you are. But thank you for reminding me or sharing that. I vaguely remember doing that. Cool. Let me set my timer. I like this timer. It's one of my favorite analog objects. Let's see. Let's see. Hope everyone's doing okay. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just gonna read. Probably won't explain too many things in between. Let's see. Special. Jumping koala into Rob's arms, embrace the expressions of Wonderloaf. Looks like blankness. Makes me think they're liars. January's baby spinach begins to yellow a small hole. I toss, unstomach the trash bin, sing, thank you, lanky hanger. Thanks, old hat. Everyone is listening. I asked, what's a fake poem? And how do I make money? My shirt, white with bed bug powder, antagonistically is diatomic earth. Smith Street's snow plow spittles salt on the ground, flurries a fantastic, classic burlesque, makes me want to give chase and tussle French fries in its wake. Feed the multitudes. With what, I say? How, I say? Me, I say? Forever? And overnight, Philadelphia in the sight mirror, I undress myself, cream and crest, twist in this stiff saddle, my quadriceps pinkening, a decision to eat land meat again, share love poetry, the rogue footage of my strawberry ass arched high as cathedral glass. What is your biggest dream? What is it? I asked every first date what it is should embarrass you. Why did I, 25, bully these men who dreamed their purebred Frenchies, winter glazing on American territories, the unwilting rooftop nursery? I too wanted the hard, sustainable property where my brief name stretches the acreage of this good future. Do we get to live again? The prodigy, my neighbor, violin expert, a slam poet, the model in corset, cartwheeler, modern dancer, designer, someone genius, someone kind, someone with no needs, savvy, an activist, a healer, my own mother, a double citizen, 3 deportees, the figure in the fisheye, unvanishing, rounds the corner, all the goodness I've been mistaken for. At nature, who's willing to forget, pity, disintegrate down to the needlepoint? Red as a kidney bean, I was once a fetus. Don't I deserve some innocence? I feel the beating of my UNICEF heart. It has grown deep. I swear, surefire nature implanted within. Nature is everything, everything, except the artist, which I have decided is me. All night, I've been touching myself. Don't try to catch up. The sun is a circle in the sky, and I'm undefeated. A calendar, that's one box following another. Truthfully, I don't think I have the capacity to love right now, yet call me back. I do want to see you, topless as myself, when in spring I deny thy daddy and still so American. Or the ramparts, I am lightning, freshly swirling with tits the size of late blooming birds' nests. I hate that word. Yet I kissed the rod so I would not strike the barn, which means the animals, the upright ox, femme sheep, coupled rabbits are safe. Your lord, who is Lord, and his manifold beasts suckled and slept under the eternal twitching stars of suburbia. How I want so badly to be with you, and not sincerely myself. P.S. If silence is golden, and silence is violence, then violence is golden, no? You must respond. I've pondered this ass up in the bath thinking, were you not my only source of information, I would not talk to you. I believe that art and violence are the only things that can truly change another person. It unnerves me that most people cannot, will not appreciate either. It's very strange not to see or hear anybody, but I have faith and I trust that this is going out into the world somewhere. How are folks doing? Can you send me a emoji? Okay. I'm gonna read some poems that I wrote in January. I wrote a poem a day in January, so I'll just start reading from that. I thought January was wild, and now we're here. Sleepless in the real assassination of foreign generals, I find my mind an oversensitive, cluttered receptacle. True household mosquitoes dive bomb my boudoir for hours. They say Soleimani is dead, killed by our elected power. Also yesterday, Dee's neighboring house burned down. Squatters, crackheads, says the firefighters, twisted unsound wiring or simply stoked heat to stay warm in the Bushwick winter. My heart is aching for all the animals in Australia, says Oliver. Those fires, uncontrollable to us, spread a mass rash on the world map, is no theory we can deny. I think the times are nearing. The cat that Dee saved now stays at Kyle's house, my gay neighbor who himself has the flu today, a fever 101. The sweet cat is named Mao, engulfed in the sad, cruel history of imprisonments, starvations, and utopia that killed my lineage. The word itself sounds like hope and fear. I think the times are nearing. Kathy en route to try my curry, Dee eating soy broth ramen in Carroll Gardens leaves me simmering in my cramped, unkempt kitchen. My cobbled Jafrezi is lurid. You have to try it sometime. Assuming the murmur of train car bulbs that startled the dank emergence are infancies, I think we've left the times behind. By now, all my friends of late are unsure. They are late and not here. Teen grocers laugh at my footwork in the aisles of the new Mr. Beat on Smith Street. They do not know I am the most serious person they could ever meet, professionally. Every act I do is someone else's FBI confession. When I got back to my apartment, a yellow Labrador squat leaking on a lamppost. The winking moon soloed in the piss was my spotlight. I clenched my wet spinach. I began to croon. This next poem is about auditioning to become a figure model. Yeah, so it's just interesting doing that as someone who's non-binary and like being naked in front of a lot of people. She thinks herself the silky leaping majesty. She thinks herself rare as Velas hair off that face of Troy, slip-stitching Titanic traffic, where wage warriors line America Avenue with not enough time to properly eat. She has not enough jackfruit on her ass to negotiate her own talent, invisible in the drawing room of West 21st Street. She raises her fingerprints, authenticity. She folds pigeon, ancestry. The whole while men cry, change, change, change. She oxygenates, barefootedly waddles, straddles a chair, hardly believing her own miscommunicated beauty. brittle as non-fat chocolate. On the platform home, she self-soothes, publicly singing Whitney's I Will Always Love You, and I will always love you, a promise. I promise that when I say she, I reference that divinity in me is faultless. The singing has always been flawless. I'm just gonna read a couple more and I'll stop. It has been a good week to me, this double decade, but my friends are 5 seized by influenza, and a 3-alarm fire denies another friend a home. He, false startingly, and already sad, half departed, is suicidal. I mean to be compassionate and gentle when I speak to him, impress no desires of stay or go. I'm untrained for this kind of negotiation, passive at the wheel, car side, eyes on the road. I cannot still myself in the spectacle because I fear this suffering, fear the car throttling forward all through the night. We sing that Lauper ballad, We Have No Past. Keep with me forward all through the night. You love it, the line about how stray cats cry out and stray cats sing back. I think that's diaspora, babe. I distract you, swipe you into my gym, regale the misdeeds of the hotties who kaleidoscope into my inbox and out. I cook vegan because you are vegan. I share with you my home, a small smile while grieving. And yet you are fine, coming and leaving and accomplishing grants, reports, emails, phone calls with insurance agents, all before I wake, dense face and cracked as creme brulee. You hardly sleep. What type of friend am I? Worrying, I hurry the suicide hotline for 21 minutes on hold while you were out at the movies last night. Nobody answered my call asking for advice I already knew, but I wanted to hear real talk in a real stranger's voice. Any volunteer, tired clod, could read me the clean literature. It's just that I don't know how wrong my friend is. Intractably, it is painful, the same beinghood, the same each day physical rip into the window light, mercy, distrust, canola grease, thirst, and regret. 4 years ago, we met by bus and gaped at 2 rainbows bent in a strawberry sky. A baby deer appeared to graze underneath. You said, wow, that's magic. Isn't that magic? Of course, I agree. I think that's my time. Thank you all. I'm gonna send some hearts.
Thank you so much. Whoa, how are you doing over there?
I'm good. As I told you earlier, I'm gonna go finish watching Shrek Retold, the scene-by-scene retelling of Shrek, told by 200 different collaborators in all genres.
Where does one see that?
It's on YouTube. It's a part of Shrek Fest.
Wow, there's a Shrek Fest? Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I'm okay. Just trying to be helpful and supportive in all the ways that I can be. Performing is really hard. Like drag is really interesting and difficult. I would rather, I think I enjoy like marching much more and like just like not being in makeup and performing right now. But yeah, just taking it the month as it is. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just here, sitting in my underwear. Maybe. I'm really lucky to be able to work from home. And my roommate has a car, so we've been, doing grocery runs and dropping them off for folks that can't leave their houses. And he's been making masks, and I've been donating the things, doing what we can. But thank you so much for reading your incredible work. And that was one of my favorite memories of Lambda, because I think you saw it on my Facebook and just decided to surprise me. And it just like touched my heart. So it's one of my favorite memories. So.
Sweet baby child. No, yes. Not yet traumatized.
One of my favorite memories from Lambda.
Can I plug something? I'm raising money right now for someone who is looking for housing, and I was wondering if I could just plug my Venmo on here if folks wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah. We're $800 away from 10K. It's like we're just doing that final push right now. So it's gonna secure housing for 4 trans creatives looking to live together, and they've all been impacted by COVID. So Anything that folks can give, I'd be happy. Maybe I can. Yeah, I'll just put that in there. I don't want to take up any more
Go ahead and add it in the chat. Whatever folks can, help. Optional, but yeah, especially if it's helping queer trans folks, in one of the most expensive cities in the world, next to San Francisco. Yeah, put it in the chat.
Thank you all so much, and it's so nice to see you, Baruch.
So good to see you, baby. Mwah. Everybody give a nice big round of applause to Wo Chan. Yay! Follow them on all the social medias and buy all their merch. I don't know if Wo has merch. They should if they don't. Our next performer, writer. I wasn't gonna read the bio because it's, when it gets to this part of the show, people are like, all right, hurry up. But they're in their bio. This writer, cartoonist, and bibliophile who lives in New York City has written comics that have been published in websites including The New Yorker, The New York Times Book Review, The Guardian, and Hyperallergic. Her comic series, Checked Out, about almost a decade spent working in New York City's oldest library, appears regularly on the website Spiral Bound. Now, I met Katie Fricas on the Sister Spit Tour, the legendary Sister Spit Tour. And not only did I think they were better dressed than me, they were also funnier than me. And as a comic, I was like, that is not okay. How dare someone who doesn't even do comedy be funnier than me? And then I got to know and love her, and I just always want to do shows with her. So I am super happy that she is here with us. Everybody, please welcome to the Lit Quake stage, Katie Fricas. Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
It's so good
How's
to
it
see
going?
you. Break a leg.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for coming to this event. Thanks, Litquake. Baruch, thank you for involving me in your erotic lifestyle as usual. This is definitely weird to be talking in my room to nobody. Woo! I'll try to stay on task here. So I'm in New York City. Hi, Wo. I hope you're nearby somewhere. New York City's been fucking nuts. I just love you guys on the West Coast, though, too. I have some comics that I want to share tonight. I think we had some issues with slides, so I'm just gonna, I'll just take you inside my diary. So I have something written, and I'll show you some pictures. We'll see if this works. If it doesn't work, then it'll be over soon. So these are just some thoughts. Let's see. So by mid-April, I think it was April 17th in New York City, it was mandated that we have to wear masks outside, which I really don't mind because I get cruised like a lot more with my face covered. So look at, so here's, can you guys see that? I'll just assume that you can. So here's me walking around, here's a babe. Yeah, I mean, Elvis is a jerk, but anyway, I do have an Elvis jacket. Yeah, I mean, we're experiencing a lot of helicopter action in New York City. Lots of helicopters have been sitting on my face, less so this week than last. But the news will make you think that New York City is burning, and it is not. Though I do have this fantasy where I get my own helicopter and I fly up beside the cop helicopter. Here, I drew this out. And I just moon him. There's my ass. I don't know if can you guys see that? Somebody let me know. Oh, okay. Oh, hi, Kelly. Okay. But then I actually told someone else that I wanted to do this, and they were like, oh, you can't fly two helicopters too close to each other because then the blades will collide and they'll crash. And so, okay, then forget that. I was at the Brooklyn Liberation Action for Black Trans Lives this past weekend at the Brooklyn Museum. It was epic. I couldn't believe it. I drew some scenes from that. This is Cyan Dora Show. She's the founder and CEO of GLITZ, which is Gays and Lesbians Living in a Transgender Society. So here she is on stage. You can read that. Yeah. And let's see. And also Raquel Willis spoke. So I drew. Here's Raquel Willis. At the march. It was definitely the largest march I've ever seen. It went on and 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 on. And I mean, you know, we were all in white. We looked amazing. It was really something. Here I am at home later. In the tub right here. I've been bathing in bath salts and oils like a cod. Salt and oil like a fish. It's good to do the self-care. I hope everybody is still making art. I know things are difficult. I know a lot of people are suffering. Here's a knockoff Frida Kahlo, deep kindergarten Frida Kahlo knockoff. This is me in the tub. Note the flowers and the boob. I put a boob in it because I'm really not afraid anymore. So I have no idea how this is going over. It feels horrendous, but I'm just gonna keep plugging. I'm almost done. Okay, this is my dish rack. Yeah, I want to make a sign where the dishes are dirty and one of the dishes is like, do me, but I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I did this comic about watering my plants. Here's a confession that this comic says that my plants turn on when I walk in, but in reality, it's me who's hot for them. So here we go, little action. I was gonna do this bit about my refrigerator named Cheryl. Does anyone want to hear about Cheryl? I can't imagine that you would. Let's see, I can show a few more drawings. This is Peppermint giving remarks at the flag raising ceremony at the Stonewall National Monument this past Friday. We planted flowers there. And then here is me as a drone, a counter drone, to fight all the other drones that are spying on us in the sky. Thank you. That's the end of my set. That's all I got, everybody. Baruch, help me.
I think my favorite part was when you were in a helicopter and you mooned people. That was... And the dirty dishes saying, I'm dirty. Katie, you're wonderful. How are you doing over there?
You know, I'm living the dream. It's really crazy. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm well. I'm well.
Oh, you're still drawing. That's really good. To be honest, a lot of people were asking me like, "When's Tiny Baruch? Where's Tiny Baruch? How come you haven't done any Tiny Baruch?" And I'm like, Tiny Baruch is depressed as fuck because there is like over 100,000 people that have died. So if you really want me to draw Tiny Baruch, sure, I'll draw him in a corner crying, worrying that his parents are gonna die. So I just don't know how some folks were able to draw during this. But when I finally was able to start drawing again, I did start feeling a little better, especially seeing other artists work during quarantine. That helped. And of course, the protests super inspired me to start drawing again. I'm working on something right now with Magnoliah Black, Irene McCalphin. We're collaborating. I'm illustrating like a poem that she wrote, but it's just, it's taken me a while because it's like I wanted to make it really perfect. But you know who is perfect? You. You're beautiful, and thank you so much. Yes, everybody follow Katie Fricas on the internet. Look at all of her comics and give her a big round of applause from your homes. Our next performer, let's see who. Yes, oh my goodness. Okay, so I met this person like almost 100 years ago in performer years. I met them at the Berkeley Poetry Slam, the legendary Berkeley Poetry Slam. They are, she's just super like multi-talented musician, solo performer, writer, like a singer, host, like is one, I think is to this day, the only multi-city slam champ. Like she held, I think, 3 different titles at one point. Always keeps impressing me and always just, you're just super cool. I am so happy we're friends. Has a very long bio, but I'm just gonna let her do her thing because that's why we're here. Everybody, big round of applause to SevanKelee Boult. Woo! Thanks for being here, beautiful.
Hey.
Break a leg.
Can everybody hear me? We good? Solid? I'm good on the microphone? Okay, awesome. Hi, y'all. I'm actually in Maryland. I'm not in California right now. I'm coming to do an extraction. I'm rescuing my friend from here. I'm bringing her back to California, and she's a playwright and a poet and a dope-ass artist. So I'm can't wait to introduce her. But I had debated on what I was going to share with you guys. And I'm actually going to do some literary work, kind of, sort of, but it's performance work also. It's called Weighted Acceptance. I did it with a dance troupe called Bahia Movement. We did it in the San Francisco International Arts Festival last year. Yeah, last year. Anyway, I'm going to read a few pieces that I wrote from it. So kind of like imagine like some really dope dancers dancing to some of this stuff. This one is called I Am No Castaway. My ancestors jettison across the Atlantic, melanated intruders interloping throughout a world built by them, not for them. I am no foundling. My parents gave me the freedom, expatriating me from a I will never know, tongue exiled in a stranger's mouth, squatting on vocabulary, squandering a wealth of words. I am no defector fleeing a war. The battle is ongoing. Non-citizens bend traditions cut at their core, expelling the essence of sexed fugitive immigrants racing toward westernization. I am no derelict. I belong to the universe, so I am told. Still, I find myself planting roots, this foreigner, alien weed, clinging to blood-soaked soil, grasping for life. This next piece I wrote, this is like slam days. I wrote this poem like as kind of like a competitive poem, but it turned into something different. So you'll see the repetition in it. Went a ways into the woods, through the forest, beyond the trees, into the woods until the desert. Made a way into the desert, through the valley, beyond the sands, into the desert, until a pool of water. Stolen away beyond the trunk, through subjugation, into a pool of water, shackled. Cast away into the ocean, through the river, beyond the sea, into the ocean, until a school of Black bodies. Drift aways into schools of Black bodies, through the Middle Passage, beyond colonization, into a school of Black bodies in the cotton fields. Run a ways, beyond strange fruit, through tobacco leaves, into cotton fields, singing for freedom, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to be home, struggle a ways into freedom, through Jim Crow, beyond civil rights, into freedom until justice, find a way into justice, through conscious movement, beyond a fraction, into justice until Black Lives Matter. Let's go a ways beyond the media, through love and peace, into Black Lives Matter until Black Lives. So this one is I'm like a freaking nerdy researcher when I've learned something, and you know, like they just killing my brothers all across the nation. They just killing them, you know. And I thought about what a bullet, you know, you think about the gun, you blame the gun, you know, the person using the gun, but everything has kind of like a spirit of some sort. And so what does the bullet have to say about all of this? Because the bullet is to something that is being damaged. And so this is that. Capable of slaughtering pounds, I am weighed in grains. It is said I cause loss of life. Our demise orchestrated by the same gun. My existence fragment, the trigger is pulled. Built up frustration within my casing. Fiery powder explodes like heated arguments. Intent does not discriminate once aimed. Sweltering wrath maims all in its path. I am led, propelled to our death. And I'm gonna read like one more and then sing a song to like clear the air. There's some heavy shit happening around here. This is the like tagline of the whole and this poem is really kind of more in reference to the homelessness issue that we face across the nation and the world also. I carry this weight for my people. Together we bear this weight, sharing our burdens. This load is not our own. We impact and anchor one another, and upholding. I carry this weight. The dispossessed cry while walking by a building once called home, memories abandoned, dusted off, scrubbed away, swept out, deported to the streets. From shelters, displaced children silently steal school meals to feed their siblings. Outcast in class, students laugh at day 4, same outfit. Shame burns behind closed eyes. Memories abandoned, filed away, passed off, X'd out, deported to the streets. Witness tears of frustration in a so-called Christian nation. 71 cities deem it illegal to feed or provide for the homeless. Police force tasked to strip the last bit of hope, confiscating blankets on freezing cold nights. Memories abandoned, taken out, pulled off, carted away, deported to the streets. Derelict demeanor drifts deeper in tent city where 24-hour notice to remove belongings given day, sanity slipping with each lost possession, unwelcome mat replacing familiar palette, memories abandoned, disregarded, bulldozed, thrown out, deported to the streets. I carry this weight for my people. Together we bear this weight, sharing our burden. This load is not our own. We impact and anchor one another. Together we carry this weight. Then I'm going to play one song, like I said, to chill it out, and I'm going to peace out of here. Y'all okay? Everybody okay? Y'all feeling good? It's okay. That's okay. I'm going to make y'all feel good real quick. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun up in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, new day, new life for me. New dawn, new day, new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossoms in the tree, you know how I feel. New dawn, new day, new life for me. New dawn, new day, new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Butterflies all in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Dragonflies are having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace till the day is done, that's what I mean. So world, a new world, a whole world for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel, don't you know? The scent of pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom, it's mine, and that's how I feel. New dawn, new day, new life for me. New dawn, new day, new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Thank you guys. I appreciate you being here tonight and being part of Litquake. Let's do it. Baruch, you got my back?
Yes, I do. All the time. Thank you
Mwah.
so much for your amazing words and your singing.
You're welcome.
Everybody, take a moment to send SevanKelee Boult some love. Where can people find your stuff? Don't go yet. Where can we find you online?
Online, I'm pretty much YouTube, Instagram. I'll type out my name one more time because it is a long word. However, I do a weekly. Speaking of art, I'm really like super happy doing art. I do a weekly, every Sunday, I do my art on Instagram, and I send out a picture of watercolor pencil. So I do watercolor pencil abstract stuff, just to keep me kind of doing whatever. But Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that name, or 7. I'll write those out.
Oh, thank you
for
so
YouTubing.
much. All right. Mwah. Thank you so much, SevanKelee Boult. Follow her on everywhere, really. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, she's on YouTube. I think she's on Twitter. We'll figure it out. But yeah, and if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, Lucky Seven, oh, that's how I met her in the slam world long, long ago. I think I met Lucky Seven back in 2006, which now in 2020 feels like 100 years ago in performer years. They also are a solo performer. So if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, next time you see her promoting one of her shows, you have to go. Her solo shows are incredible, and they mix everything from writing, storytelling, poetry, music, acting. She does characters. Awesome performer. Love that she was able to join us today. So we are near the end of the show. I was going to do a set tonight, but I decided that I shouldn't take that much space. So I'm not going to do poetry. Y'all got to see some of my drawings, so that should be enough, because we are now down to our last performer. So where did I meet this next performer? I honestly don't remember whether I met her at a burlesque show or a poetry show or a comedy show or at like a naughty, like I don't think I met her at a sex party. No, but like she's cool. She goes to really cool places. She's also an activist. She's a writer. She's a singer. The last time we got to perform together, I did a show. I took over Writers with Drinks for Charlie Jane Anders one night, and she showed up and wowed us all. So I'm going to read her bio. So I'm trying to stay professional, y'all. I might not be wearing pants, but I'm a professional. Her bio. Oh, and before we have our last performer, I just want to thank Litquick. I want to thank Jack. I want to thank Hunter, and I want to thank all of you out there for taking the time to tune in and listen to some poetry and to some words. Because a lot of us performers, and boo-hoo, we can't perform. But it's something that is really important to us. And so having that energy and exchange with a crowd, with an audience, sometimes is what keeps some of us alive. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for staring at us through your laptops. And honestly, everyone out there, let's not go back to normal. If you can protest, keep protesting until we get some traction and change some laws to finally help keep Black people safe. Keep protesting. If you can't protest, donate to things like Black Lives Matter and organizations that help support Black people, Black queer people, and especially Black trans women. So if you got the funds, donate. If you're a tech worker, donate to Litquick. They do incredible stuff and promote shows like this and hire me to bring artists together. Donate to Litquick, donate to Black Lives Matter, and let's keep the movement going. If we are a writer and you're an artist, you got to keep inspiring people. And if it's not your lane, at least push the people in your lane to keep the momentum going. So that's just all I wanted to say. I didn't want to read some poetry. I just wanted to encourage all of you to keep going, because things hopefully will get better. All right, now I'm going to read our last performer's bio. Here we go. Irene McCalphin, aka Magnoliah Black, has performed her writing all over the place. Her writing has been performed at Black Love at Strut, Radar Productions, Writers with Drinks, and she has danced and done burlesque on stages throughout the country with the award-winning and internationally traveled troupe Rubenesque Burlesque from 2009 to 2015. But she also keeps doing other stuff and winning. Good friend of mine. I am so happy she joined us tonight. Please give a warm round of applause to Irene McCalphin, Magnoliah Black. Welcome. Yay! She's going to join us very, very soon. Very, very soon, I hope. Unless we're having some... Here we go, yay!
Hi. Oh my God, that's tight. That was in my face. Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see y'all too.
How
Oh
you
my
doing?
God, I did not know it was gonna zoom in that much. I wasn't ready. I was nervous though because I'm not wearing pants either. I put on a bra, but I'm not wearing pants.
Stop trying to turn me on. I'm trying to work here. I'm not wearing pants either. There, I said it. I'm not wearing pants. Coronavirus.
So thank y'all so much for having me.
Break a leg, beautiful.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. It's been it's been rough and it's been hard. I'm gonna give y'all a piece of poetry and then I'm gonna end it with a story. But we're gonna do the poetry first. I don't want to talk about it actually. I want to write about missing touch, missing work, missing people, missing the feeling of the breeze against my maskless face. But every time pen marks page, all that spills is an anger that unsettles me. I want to breathe. I want my lungs to manifest from my mind roadmaps to someplace where I can have space from my madness, but I'm locked into it, locked in with it. I do not want to fear my rage. My rage is sacred. My rage pushes against the programming that intergenerational trauma has coded into my DNA. My rage is a purifier, backwards and forwards. It is medicine and SOS to spirit and invocation of the ancestors and all hands on deck to the mighty dead. But my rage has seen my people burned, unemployed, hung from trees. My just rage has inhuman acts against me incorrectly and horrifically, historically justified. My rage may be the doorway to my death, but we are beginning to possess each other. My rage unleashed is a glorious, gorgeous pharaoh thing, crawling up my throat, pushing past my teeth, curling around my tongue and singing a love song to us. It was a quiet, simmering rage, an I'm so fucking tired rage that sat next to Corvette Scott on the bus that day. It was rage that wrapped around the bricks and bottles that night at Stonewall. It was rage and exhaustion, and it was love. Beloveds, your rage is love. Love of your people, love of us. Your rage is rooted in knowing that you've tried everything else. Your rage is rooted in grieving every night and somehow pulling it together enough to get shit done in the morning. Your rage is rooted in being gaslit by the narcissism inherent in white supremacy. Your rage is rooted in seeing the tools we have created to survive violent oppression be taken, whitewashed, and wielded against you. Your rage is rooted in the inability to understand how people can refuse to engage in the basics of empathy. Do not fear your rage. Your rage is an SOS to spirit, an invocation of the ancestors, and all hands on deck to the mighty dead. Your rage is medicine. Your rage is sacred. Your rage is holy. Okay. So the next piece, I'm going to read one more short piece and I'm going to go into a story to like cleanse it all out a little bit. Not cleanse it all, let that sit with you. Like the rage is real. And I believe that we're often told to like quiet down or keep in place or whatever, but like fucking rage is a tool. And I know like when it's turned inward, like it can destroy you and cut you up and have you second guessing yourself. So allow yourself to rage. And also seek your joy. Let yourself rage. So here's another piece. It's called A Love Letter to Black and Brown Peoples. Dearly beloved, before you close your eyes tonight, remember that you are magnificence, whether you are in motion or not. You are not outside of your sanity. You are most definitely under attack from within and without. And while there is medicine in the shadow, there is also horror in knowing which way the wind blows. I am sorry for those of us who must continue to do work in these exhausted states. For those of us who cannot continue to do the work and are drowning in the guilt or shame of the relief of being sidelined. It is so hard to practice what we so often preach, to bring water to parched lips of others that is so hard to swallow for ourselves. I wish us to give us the grace we so freely give to everyone else. You are not a hypocrite for crawling into, caving into coping methods that have given you comfort. You are not a hypocrite for attempting to create space or a buffer to buffer your shock system. We are constantly grieving and we need space for that, space to not take in everything that is around us. Space so we can get footing, and let's be real, dearly beloved. We are trying to get footing on quickly moving and seeking sand. We are trying to do something that seems like the impossible, but remember, we are walking, waking miracles descended from the first peoples, the magical peoples, those that survived genocides and middle passages and trails of tears. Depression and anxiety has us out here doing great feats by simply breathing, while simultaneously have us losing sight of who we are. It will make you forget that you are magnificent, whether you are in motion or not. Here is my prayer, my dream, my demand for us. We're going to take rest. We're going to allow ourselves to be totally bent, to be messy, to cry, to be fucked up, to be imperfect. We are going to fully mourn our dead. We're going to remember their names and keep a place for them at our tables. We are going to keeping on. We're going to keep being molded in this fire we are moving through, because there will come a break or we will make one, even if we have to crack the foundation itself. We will survive this with our souls intact, because once it is over, we are still going to be on the front line. And whatever is invested in seeing this world double-dicked into darkness, whatever is increasing its effort to destroy you is officially put on notice. Instead of catching us, is going to catch these hands. But for now, rest. Rest as much as you can and when you can, and give yourself as much space and comfort as you can. For when we wake, heaven and hell is coming with us and through us, dearly beloved. Sacred soul, you are magnificent even when you are not in motion. Thou art the sun the next world will rotate around. I miss you. I love you. I love us. Okay. And for my last thing, I'm gonna tell y'all a little brief. I'm gonna try to keep it short. A little story from a time when we could, touch each other. So I used to go teach at these very spiritual conventions once a year. I'm a witch. Hey. So this one year, I was bleeding constantly for like a month. I had like a period from hell. And I was tired of using tampons and all that kind of shit. So I was with one of my friends, and he said, well, why don't you just try the Diva Cup? And so we went to CVS and we got a fucking Diva Cup. And the box said that if you're over the age of 35, you should have had children, then you need to get the plus size Diva Cup. And I don't know why I thought these people knew the inside of my body better than I did, but I went and said, okay, I'm gonna go get this fucking Diva Cup. So I got it. I bring it back to the house. I lay down on the floor because I'm scared. I'm just gonna lay down on the floor because I'm a Virgo, so I'm also a hypochondriac about everything. I get real nervous about anything. So I unbox it and I put it inside, get it all up in there. And when it starts to unfurl, and yes, Virgos, it starts to unfurl. And as it unfurls, it starts creeping up, and this thing latched onto my cervix like a puppy needing milk. Just up in there. So I'm in the bathroom letting two of the people outside know what is happening, because I'm convinced it is very wrong. And none of these people have the same genitals that I do. So they're just like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be great. And I'm like, no, I really think there's a problem. They're like, just breathe, just relax. It's going to be great. I'm like, no, it's a problem. Anyway, I soon forget because we're making, it was stuck in the cervix real hard. It was really intense. It was odd, but I didn't have much time to really think about it because we were making pot cookies, and you know how you taste stuff while you make it. So the night was going on, and I knew that I had to get this thing out, and I realized, oh, I should remove this diva cup before I can't count to 10, right? So I go into the bathroom, and I'm like in there trying to get it out, and I can't get it out. And I'm sweating, and you know, like, if you, like, I'm fat. When I take marijuana in, sometimes it doesn't unleash its full power until, like, I start moving around. So I'm moving around, I'm sweating, the marijuana kick in real good. Like, and these cookies are green. Like, I just want to tell you, the cookies were green before they went in the oven. They were green after they baked. Like, these bitches were not fucking with you. So I call one of my friends in there, and he's like, okay, girl. He's like, all right. You know, he's like, I'm getting in your pussy to get this thing out. And he tries to get in there, and it feels like he's like just scraping my cervix. And my other friend is pulling up YouTube videos and standing over us going like, it's a pinch and a twist. It's a pinch and a twist. And I have to call it quits because it's some bullshit. So I'm like, no, wait, we're just going to go to sleep, and tomorrow we're going to deal with it. So I go to sleep with this thing in me. I phone a friend who lives next door because, you know, she got the same equipment. So I figure she'll be able to get in there, but she wasn't awake. So we get in the car, we drive down to the San Jose DoubleTree where this fucking convention is going on. And like, I go into this hotel room where my spiritual mother is. And my spiritual mother is like, oh my God, like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Because not only was my friend looking up YouTube videos, he was recording it. And he sent the video of my trauma to like, I don't know, 15 people on this one thread. So they all knew what was going on. So my spiritual mom is like, oh baby, like, do you need some help? And I'm like, Mariah Carey is stuck in her room and she won't come out, because we named the Diva Cup Mariah Carey. So like, I'm in there and I'm on the bed and I got one leg up, and like one of my friends is holding my leg, and my spiritual mother's like got like 2 fingers in me trying to get it out. Oh, but wait. We realized we needed lube to get this thing out. And we didn't have any lube, but what we had was more canna salve. So we used a canna salve to get up in there. So the whole room smells like pussy and marijuana. And I'm like bearing down and like go, like, you know, just like trying to get this, you know, fucking thing trying to give birth to this fucking Diva Cup. A few other people come in the room, like somebody's playing Enya or Whitney Houston. Like, my brain can't remember because I was like so like fucked up at that point. But like, so it's me, my spiritual teacher, like my head is in somebody's lap, someone's holding my hand, another one's like doing like support, like it's like queer family support. And so my spiritual mother is like, we have to call in a tiny-handed lesbian. And I'm like, I know who she wants to call, and I'm like, I hate this bitch. Like, you cannot call this bitch. I can't stand this bitch. Like, I do not want her inside of me. Like, and she's like, we have no choice. So they call a tiny-handed lesbian, and the tiny-handed lesbian gets in there, and she gets like one finger in, and then she gets another finger in, and the whole room is just like fucking quiet. And she's like, I'm gonna put another finger in. And I'm like, I don't think another finger. She's like, I will put another finger in. And I'm like, I don't think and she gets the third finger in, and then she's like, okay, I'm gonna break the seal. Y'all, when she breaks this seal, you could hear the pop in the room. This thing is still inside me. You could hear the pop in the room, and everyone in the room cringes. They're like, ugh! And I'm like, ugh! And it's like, it was the best feeling in the world, legit. Like, legit. I still can't stand that hoe, but like, I'm so happy that she had tiny hands and came to my rescue. So yeah, so I like dump out the cup, and my teacher's like, you are never to use that thing again. So I throw Mariah in the trash. And then I spend the rest of the weekend high because I learned that you can put canna salve inside yourself to get high. So I spend the rest of the conference with a high hide from a pussy. And yeah, but that story just goes to illustrate how, you know, we all kind of need each other, and sometimes trust falls happen in very particular ways. And that when we come together as a community, we can get shit done, even though it might be very vulnerable and very visceral. Yeah, lean back and trust tiny-handed lesbians. So that's what I got for y'all. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Mariah. Mariah failed us. Oh my God, honey, that was an unbelievable, amazing story. But that happened. That was so funny.
I was live tweeting it as it was going on.
I mean, what an incredible story about queer support and queer family. I mean, also, I just love stories. But I didn't do pot like all of high school because I was a good boy. And I didn't do drugs at all in college. I barely drank. And most of my like 20s and 30s, I was one of those good boys. I just was like, I don't need drugs. Like a year or two ago, I finally tried like pot gummies, and now I freaking love them.
Oh my God. I didn't start messing with marijuana until like 5 years ago. Game changer.
Yes. And also just like being like a big person who just has a bunch of body pains and problems and back pains, I take one of those yummy pot gummies and then I just feel amazing.
Yeah. Get the day done. Start the day off right. End it right too. Take a break.
Yes. Thank you so much for your work and your words and your stories and your presence.
Thank you.
I love you. Just gonna say that. How are you doing? Oh, okay. Never mind. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We are at the end of the show and we went a little bit over. So, but before we end, I want everybody to please give a big round of applause to Irene McCalphin, aka Magnoliah Black. She's fantastic. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her on Twitter. Follow her everywhere, and
follow her to the San Jose DoubleTree Hotel. I'm never going to think about the San Jose DoubleTree again without.
I worked there for a year in my when I was in college. Those cookies are delicious.
That's a fantastic story. I mean, what a thing to end on. Tiny-handed lesbians, Diva Cup, San Jose DoubleTree. Oh, it's beautiful.
The pop heard around the world.
I know, it really is. So, Baruch, what a tremendous show you put together here. It is really.
I'm still in love with all these writers.
Such a great variety. We had a little music. We had some cartoons, yours as well as Katie's. It was just really great. Thank all of you for tuning in and bearing with us through a few technical difficulties. But those of you who hung out until the end were treated to the Diva Cup Chronicles. that is worth waiting for. It really was. Thank you all. Thanks to all the poets and cartoonists and everybody for participating tonight. Some people were on the East Coast, and it was definitely up late. And Baruch, again, thank you so much. Please support all of the writers and the poets who were doing stuff tonight. And go, if you see Katie on the street in New York, buy a cartoon from her. Just buy one from her right there. And if you'd like to,
got stickers.
Yeah, and if you'd like to donate to Black Lives Matter causes, their links are all over the place. Please do so. It's a moment of re-education in America. Let's hope so. And if you'd like to give a few coins to Liquake, you can hit the donate button at the bottom of the screen. We have another event coming up next week. We actually have two events next week. One is a literary page turner event about plot and marketability, which is kind of, nobody really talks about that much. And then further on down in the week, we have a Wayetu Moore. This is an event we're doing with Museum of the African Diaspora, and she has a new memoir about her harrowing early years growing up in Liberia. So come into liquake.org for both of those. So Baruch, I hope I see you again sooner than later. Thank you again for all this. Baruch used to host Liquake's events at the what am I thinking? Yerba Buena
Gardens Festival.
Yerba Buena's Gardens Festival, right? And we would do these like monthly lunchtime poetry things, and it was Baruch's opportunity to just foist stuff upon the masses, like a free outdoor thing. And there's a beautiful garden. Of course, it's all closed up now, and we weren't able to do it. But
I miss them. That staff there in that park, and everyone in the admin office was just so supportive to the whole event. From the people giving us bottles of water to the folks setting up the tech, everybody there at the Yerba Buena Gardens staff was just so lovely. And the Litquake staff that would come to the events. It was such a great experience. Thanks for that, Jack.
I know. Well, I feel bad for them. They did such a great sort of diverse kind of like program from spring to summer. And it all got blown out because of this stupid virus. So let's hope we get back up and running soon. So okay, Baruch. Thanks to you. So great to see you again. And thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye, Jack.